All right, good morning, everybody. It's Kelby, joined by Drew and Tim. We haven't done one of these in a while. Learned from Tim. Where you been?
I've been sitting here waiting for you guys to come back.
For like a month.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Kind of sore.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we're here.
Okay, good.
So,
Finally.
how you guys doing today?
Wonderful. Let's go.
Great, yeah.
All right. So today we are going to focus on how to deal with difficult employees, i.e., but also high turnover. You want to
Yep.
get into that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go. What do we do?
I don't know.
I think
Well,
this is a good one because especially after COVID or during COVID, there was a lot of high turnover. I feel like a lot of companies could benefit from this.
Well, it's kind of interesting because I can remember the times I went to these business meetings that I had twice a year, and they asked what was one of the biggest questions is how your turnover is, and our turnover was very slim. It was something to brag about.
Yeah.
And had one guy that's been doing it for 25 years or 30 years, and he said that, hey, time is coming. And you'll know when you start to become in business is when your turnover starts really, it can go in little pieces or it'll come in big chunks.
Yeah. Let's back up a little bit. What is turnover? What are we talking about when we talk about turnover?
Meaning when people come here and then they leave, or the turnover of the people is many, you're switching out or they're coming here for a year and they leave. That turnover is basically how you can retain people. What are the tricks of retaining people or keeping them or whatever you want to say, but that's the in and out.
Mm-hmm. Drew, you made a good point about COVID, and it made me start thinking is like all these people got laid off and all this stuff. So it kind of opened up the field again to where it got super competitive again. You may have this employee that works for you, and then there's this other employer out there that is hurting for people. So they're going to throw a bunch of money at this person. So that's how you lose them. So that's we're actually kind of experiencing that right now, I feel like.
Well, there was a time, was it 2009, where it was very competitive? I know back in the day, I hear a lot of people saying work was very competitive just to get a job.
Yeah, because the economy went down.
Yeah.
Everyone was bidding something so cheaply. Everyone was wanting to get into the federal work because the housing development was gone.
Yeah.
And then contractors thought they could jump into something else.
Mm-hmm.
And they bid it to where it didn't hit. They got it, but then they realized it wasn't the best thing for them to do.
Yeah.
So people and retaining people was easy.
Yeah.
They were coming in, filling out applications.
Wanting the job.
And wanting a job. Now, it's different.
Yeah.
What's changed in your opinion?
Everyone needing something. Everyone's needing somebody. I can remember the factories out here years ago that didn't have hiring, need help, or, whatever. It was so hard to get into them places.
It's competitive.
And they didn't need anybody.
Yeah.
Now they got signs on the roads
Oh,
and
it's
billboards
everywhere.
hiring. We're going to give you this extra bonus, but they get them in.
Mm.
But it's a little bit more lax with these people.
It is. And you see people giving excuses that there's not as many people nowadays, but that's not true because I think the birthing rate is going up drastically. There's people out there.
Yeah.
It's whether you can attract them or not, and people want to work.
So how do we attract them? What were you going to say?
Well, no, it's a good question. How do we track them? Share what we do. We are a construction company. There is so much that a construction company does. Do they build houses? Do they do roads? Do they do concrete? Whatever they do, but share it, show it, prove it. We can talk about what we do all day long.
Yeah.
But if we don't have some kind of statements from a client saying, hey, they did a really good job, this was the president of this company.
Yeah.
Sharing them and having a picture so people can see that. Share it with the person that did it. Put the person, the superintendent or the project manager or whoever you have, put them on a pedestal.
Yeah.
Let them be their own trophy. The thing is that, we had our staff meeting this morning and we talked about, why do people leave? And, we've always said it was because of the management. But I think sometimes now it's to the point that why do people leave is maybe it is the management, or maybe it's just the employee. You can manage as best as you can, and it's still not going to change that employee.
Yeah.
But if you make them accountable, it's a lot easier to say, hey, I can keep them, or I can get rid of them, or I can help them. And I think that if you put them perspectives in front of you, then you don't have to worry about anything else, because you can stop them from spreading the cancerous rumors,
Yeah.
or you can help him to get where he needs to be, and you're making him accountable, and he has nothing to complain about.
Yeah.
And we've had that situation. We've been there. Everyone's been there. And now we're at a situation that we're getting hit hard too. And that's fine, because I've seen a lot of the people's attitudes here in the office. It's tough. It's stressful. What do we do? Well, get back to the basics. Measure it, do it, and run with it. And we got a culture that we have shared with a lot of people on LinkedIn and a lot of Facebook culture. And if we can, what we're doing and showing what we do, that even proves to the culture it works.
Yeah. And the difference between 2009 and now is that people can be picky on what they want to do, which is good for the person that wants to get the job, but it's bad for the business because you really have to woo them into coming to your business. But now people can just pick up and go anywhere, and they have so many options.
Well, yeah, we've had a couple of situations. People they left, came back. Now they're leaving again because the same place they worked are offering them more money.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, it's good for them. I mean, they have so many people offering and so many options, but for us, it's like, well, okay, you're back and you're gone again and you're back again. It's like
the dollar one.
Yeah, it talks.
It had nothing to do with management.
Right.
It had nothing to do. Could have been a rumor. Oh, this place sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone's got that. It's out there. Everyone has that.
And I think that's where we're shooting for here at Encore that's the ultimate goal, is to create a place where we encourage people to go off and do their own thing eventually one day, but they don't want to leave because the culture is so strong, so good. And that's the ultimate goal. A culture that doesn't get defeated by the dollar would be a great mindset to have for an organization. So, kind of you being a business owner, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with high turnover when you're noticing that and hearing that? What are some steps or keys or things that you would provide to another or business owner that they need to do?
Well, number one, and I caught myself this morning, is putting yourself in doubt. What me as an owner doing? What am I doing wrong? Is it our managers? You ask the questions because you hear everyone's side of the story and you have finger pointing. And that's the biggest thing, is finger pointing, because some people don't get along out in the field and they'll finger point.
Yeah.
You got to find the truth. And Kelby and I were talking about this morning. You have to find the truth. You have to get them together to work together to see. You don't see a coach on the sideline of a football team with one person. If he's going to have the offense, he's going to have everyone that's in that offense right there. You're talking in front of them, and you're coaching that. And that's where I slipped and went into doubt. What's going on? What are we doing that we should be doing? It's hard to do when you have it's easier when you got one person in a month leaves. It's really easy that say, hey, they want to do a career change, and that's understandable. It really is, because that's in their heart what they want to do. Mm-hmm. But if they're leaving the same place or going to the same kind of thing that they do here or anywhere and go somewhere else, then you have to ask, what were the situations?
Yeah.
Weigh that option.
Yeah.
The only way it's going to help me as an owner is weigh the option. Was that person really that good? Mm-hmm. Should we have not got rid of that person a year ago? Or was it the manager that he couldn't even enjoy to be with? You got to weigh them options.
Yeah.
Once you feel comfortable on what that option, you find out what was really the truth by you, then you have it. Then you can say, yeah, now I understand it.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
Do you think if there is getting on to the difficult employees, I don't know if another word to explain that, because you do have people who are low energy, negative energy, and they become toxic and kind of attract others that just fall into that same trap. But how do you deal with that? I mean, what are some things that can be done? Can that be cured? Do you think a strong enough culture can either help them? Because at the end of the day, it's their choice how they want to be. But I'm just trying to think through this, is like, can you have a strong enough culture to not manipulate them per se? I hate that word. But help them, encourage them. And that comes down to the leadership to help them. I'm just wondering if that's a personal thing that they probably will just never get over. That's on them. They got to get over, or is there something that we could do as an organization to change that? Besides holding accountability, I guess that's the biggest thing, is accountability and keeping to it's setting that standard, drawing the line in the sand, and not wavering from it.
And that's what has to. It's a step. It's a step process. Follow the step. Follow the standard. Be the basic, because sometimes people won't change.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where they have to go somewhere else to figure out how they can change themselves.
Yeah.
That's the only way. I can't change you or anyone out there. But if you lay the standard in the process, the basics, the step, here's, like you said, draw that line. Follow that line. They can do it any way they want it. But as long as they follow it, you got it. But if they veer, you got to attack it now. You got to attack it that day. You got to attack it, because what happens is like cancer inside a body. It grows. If you don't attack it now,
Yeah.
you stop it.
Yep.
And if you don't, then they grab someone else and they fall into that trap. It's easy to fall into people's trap. It is. You listen to TV, you can fall to anyone.
Oh, yeah.
And so that, if you can stop it, then they start seeing it. So you're going to start grabbing people that are really good. And if they don't see you're doing anything with that, then they start thinking
100%.
they're going to go somewhere else.
Yep.
I can't handle it. If they're allowing them to get away with it, I'm busting my butt.
Yeah.
You got to stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said it perfectly this morning with the military, the police, the fire department, anything like that. They have their standards and they set them straight, and they make it, their accountability is there 100%. If you don't fit in, you can't fit in, then you can't work here. It's just how it is.
You move on.
Yeah, you move on.
I wrote this quote down the other day, which was awesome, and it just reminded me to bring it up. Don't focus on the impact the bad ones have on you. Focus on the impact you have on the good ones. And I think that's a big thing I like to talk about, is we waste so much time and energy pandering and coddling the ones that are the negative energy, because we're trying to satisfy them, and we're falling into their own trap ourselves as leaders. When we have top-notch, top shelf, whatever you want to call it, other people out there that are busting their butts, not saying a word, not complaining, and just doing what they need to do, and we're completely putting them in the side. And like you said, they're going to sit there and be like, oh, okay, they're fed up. So then now we're already dealing with someone that doesn't care to be here. They're maybe just here for a job, but then we're trying to focus on and keep them happy, while we're also maybe losing these A-plus players.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing to pay attention to for any organization out there.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, as leaders, always pick your top 20%. Pick your top 20, work on them. Do whatever you can to make sure they stay to where they're at, to 20%. I guarantee you that one of them, 20% of them people could be a leader, and he focuses on 20% of his. Mm-hmm. Always stay focused on 20%. Do not waste your time on the 80. Mm-hmm. The 80 will come to you with the other 20% that you've focused on.
Energy is contagious, and that creates the culture. If you're focusing on the negative energy, you're falling into that trap. Although you're trying to fix it or manipulate it to not be negative, it's honestly working against you. Well, now that I'm thinking about it. So if you focus on the good stuff, you go out there and praise and highlight the good things that happen, the supers that did this job, and put that out there, and not just try to push all this stuff all the time, but actually put it out there and show that it's happening with the guys that actually are following it. That's what builds the culture.
Exactly. That's where it needs to go out in the network, is take the pictures of what they've done. Focus on them. because it's like a fire. You just don't let the fire burn. You're going to put it out. You're just going to put it out. If you got a fire out there, you get in your truck and you're going to go out there and hose it down, period. It's an emergency. Hose it down. When you focus on the 20% and putting them out there on the web, they see their pictures. Well, now they got it. I'm appreciated for all the things I do.
Yeah.
We have a guy down in Chillicothe that's knocking it out of the park with the asphalt. Go down there and take a picture of this guy helping the asphalt. Or we have a guy up in Ann Arbor knocking it out. You know, that's where we're at. You know, and you're exactly right, Kelby. It's you got to show the 20% or the people that you have.
Yeah.
They're doing good things.
Yeah.
Share it. Don't waste your time on any other stuff.
I mean, if you do waste, if you do get that bad egg, it's a hard pill to swallow. You want to help them and see them change, but you can't, as a business owner, you can't hold their hands. They're grown adults. They know how to act some days. It's their lives. You can't change this person. You know, you want to help them, but like you said it perfectly, focus on the people that are here to help, energize the 20% that can, you know, do the work and are reliable. You can't just keep holding hands of people that just want a job, a paycheck, and come in and out. And
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
no, I'm just saying, like, you just can't focus on that negative energy when it's, they might have something going on at home that you just can't focus on the whole time. You have other things. The ship is sailing, whether they want to be a part of it or not. And if they don't want to, then they can leave. You can't just keep focusing because your direction will change.
You got to think.
Person.
You got to think about it too. If you're focusing on that top tier, they also know top tier guys probably too.
They do, yeah.
So if you're not focused on them, and then they just feel like they don't matter, they're just busting their butt and they're getting nothing for it. Why are they going to ask their buddies to come work for us?
Right.
You're focusing your time and energy on the people that are. Think about their buddies, who they have. They're probably the same way. So it's like we're trying to focus on them. They're already mad.
Yeah.
They're not going to tell anybody to come here because they're already mad. They're not going to say, "Oh, yeah, this place is great," because I'm already complaining about it and it sucks. So why would they bring anybody?
Right.
It's crazy stuff to think about.
Well, when you got people tattling, they're the ones that want attention. And so you got these stories going on. They want attention. They're the negative people. They want the attention because they're jealous of the top 20% that you're focused on. But if they start realizing that you're focusing on them, the 20%, and not focusing on this chatter because they love the chatter, they got the egos, they got the chips on their shoulders. They're not humbled.
Yeah.
That's why turnover happens. You're focusing too much on this negative. That's your turnover. You're focusing on trying to fix someone that you know it's going to be hard. Focus on the top 20. Stay in that path. Stay on that trail. Stay on that line. Whatever you want to stay there. If you dip down to here, that's when the turnover starts.
That's 100% because there's going to be two options for that down here tier, the lower guys per se, whether it's performance or behavior. Usually 9 times out of 10 it's behavior, complaining, all this stuff. They're going to work their way out if they notice. Like if we're just focused on the top guys and rewarding and highlighting that, I mean, they're going to either work themselves out or just be like, okay, maybe I need to change myself and try to get up there. Like, so, I mean, I may be good at performing the work or anything like that, but if I'm just bringing negative energy and bringing guys down with me, that doesn't make, I've said it before, I'm pretty sure, like someone who performs good, they're good at one thing, but they have a bad attitude. In my opinion, they're a bad employee.
Mm-hmm. What is the description of a 20% employee they focus on? So if there's guys that are at the bottom tier,
right here,
how do they focus? Well, yeah, there you go, the culture, but
core values.
But as a person coming in with a bad attitude and whatever, they see the 20% getting focused on. What can they do to be a 20%er?
So it's your basic standard process. So if you have a superintendent or an employee, just put employee, they do what their job, they do it, you track it to see if they're knocking it out of the park. Mm-hmm. They're a B plus A player. They don't complain. They put in their PTO. They do all their stuff that they're supposed to do, point blank. They're doing everything that you asked them to do. They're doing it. That's your 20%. They're motivated. They're here. They call you. They communicate. You will find out your 20% because you just grade them.
Yeah.
It's like school. You're going to grade your top students, and that's what happens. You're getting your top students because you're going to take that to the All-Star, just like baseball players.
Yeah.
You're going to take your top players. It's a graded average. You're going to take a 500 hitter and not a 100 hitter.
Yeah.
You're going to take that guy and you're going to take him to the All-Star. And that's what happens with your 20%. You got 20 people, you take your 20%. And that's what it's 2 people, 3 people. But that shows that consistency.
Yeah.
That's what grows a company.
Yeah. So kind of transition, how important are exit interviews regardless of the employee?
I've never had one. When I've left people and I gave them, 2 weeks notice and telling them what I was doing, they never really gave me that opportunity to sit down, because I can hear what they have to say, and most of the people that do exit are the ones that are going off to different careers, maybe the ones that had good attitudes. Maybe that's what you have an exit career or an exit interview. Don't get the ones that are leaving and then we're disgruntled. Emotional.
Yeah.
You have to weigh if it's worth to have the exit. We have people that went and did other things. That's who you exit because they can give you some ideas. You weigh them options and ideas, but they're changing their things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anything that has emotion you have to shut that down.
I mean, you want to know what that good employee has to say, what you were doing right and what you were doing wrong as a company.
Yeah.
Because if they take what you were doing for them to another company, then that's the best thing you could ask for someone leaving.
Oh, yeah.
I think the most thing is that if a person leaves your company and goes to the same kind of type field. Lateral move, I think that's not, I don't know. Sometimes that if they're happy, they're going to stay if they're doing a lateral move.
Yeah.
You communicate. If they wanted more money, they sit down and talk about it. What is the changes? Typically, if you got the or the lateral move, you can work on that, but most of that's emotion and most of it's from management, and maybe they can come to the right person and talk about, well, hey, this wasn't happening. And that's typically if you got a real good guy.
Yeah.
So you'll find out more about that way. But emotion, you're right.
Yeah.
Career change, you can sit down with them.
So for those ones that are maybe just looking for growth opportunities, continuity with the job, what are your thoughts on that? Like, I'm a big continuity person. I mean, I've learned that from the Air Force. Every process you have, just write each step down. So if like you get sick out of nowhere or die out of nowhere, someone can pick this binder up and be like, oh, step by step, I know how to do all this. So that's pretty important too. Keeping that continuity between the transition, that'll help a company. So how much do you push that? How much should a business owner push that for employees to hold that accountability and continuity?
It's important, and but to the point that as an owner, as you grow, I feel that I don't have to keep pushing. I think the people and the leaders underneath me need to push it.
Yeah,
that's the respect. If you don't give your leaders underneath you the respect of making sure it's continuity, it tends to fade away, because that what happens is the people go around that leader and come to me.
Yeah.
So yes, you've got to be consistent.
I guess what are some things that, if you are experiencing a high turnover, what are some things that you can do or implement to stop the hemorrhaging a little bit, make it a little bit more easy of a transition for a new employee to come in? Because, I mean, you even heard it I guess for our estimating department, losing a couple guys, and they said, well, we're not going to hire anybody new because we're coming up on this big season, this busy season of bidding. But what can they do to kind of help that? What are some things, I guess? Because if you had processes in place for this, if we needed to hire someone on the fly or something, be like, they could just come right in and not have to worry about training this person. Obviously, you could get someone experienced, but they're not used to the processes that Armcorps does. I guess, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, I think that people become complacent on what they do, and they feel that they have someone else to come in to help them. If they would really just focus on what they're supposed to do, maybe they really don't, because they're finding out, did they really need that amount of people in that?
That's true.
So it's easy to say, I need somebody to help me. Then you're only doing a minimal amount of work.
Yeah.
It's easy when you have that many to sit back and relax a little bit. It's it's like the military. They have 200 and some thousand people in the military or whatever, and there's billions of people.
Yeah.
But they've minimized themselves in a standard that they can handle one and get 30.
I was just going to say that. I said it's that fixed mindset. Like they see the job title and they're like, oh, that's not my job to do that. But as humans, we are more capable of doing so much more. And a lot of people don't realize that. You just hear, that's not my job. I hate that saying, first off. Don't ever say that in your life. Because if you want to be a personally excellent person and grow, you have to be exposed to these new things. Like, I mean, why can't you do this? To go try to do it. There's a process to do it. Just learn it. And then guess what? It's going to be easy. You're going to be able to do it on the fly. People get so scared and hear that, oh, that's not my job. So go try it. Go try new things. Go try hard things. And you'll realize what you're fully capable of.
It's a lot harder, or it's a lot easier to build your bicep muscles than it is your mind. And that's what people have. They see the look. When they look in the mirror and they built their muscles, they said, oh my God, this is freaking huge. This is nice. It's easier to do that because they enjoy doing it. But when your mind, you can't see your mind. And the only way to build it is to do more and to be positive and not think the negative, because the negative will come first.
Yeah.
What do bodybuilders do when they don't cut the right way? They get negative right away, but then they jump into it and they build and lift more. They lift more and they keep running and they keep doing that because the proof is there.
Yeah.
And that's when this people out here that do their projects, they want to see the proof. They want to see that. We got to share it. That's what that's how they win the contest of the muscle toned look.
Yeah.
The mind, you can't see it.
A lot of people have low ceilings in their minds.
Exactly.
And they don't know how to get above it.
You got to bust it.
Yeah.
And so when that happens, you can take a person that can do just as much as 3 people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And make it still put 8 hours in. And still, because you have to organize that. And it's like building that muscle. They get used to it. You can do more. You can. If people would focus more on what they do and how they look and work out and do it at work, my gosh, it's incredible.
Everyone has the same amount of time in a day.
I mean, when studies say that whenever you think you're tired or overwhelmed, you're literally only using 40% of your ability. So there's 60% left. That's what we've came to. And you think about, they were building pyramids back in the day and all these buildings and I'm doing all this crazy stuff. As you wonder, wait, what the heck?
Yeah.
Well, like, why can't we do that right now? It takes how many people now versus what it took back then?
Can you imagine that all these people that keep thinking they need more people? Do they really? I mean, are they paying $4 more to get someone else?
Yeah.
They're adding another person in that. What happens? Because that should teach us. We're slimming. But can we just go back to that standard and work off the standard and do as much or more with what we have now than we did?
Yeah.
We can.
Yeah. Every time you add another add another ego per se. I mean, you got to navigate that.
Adapt.
Yeah.
It's that adapt of growing the mind, not the physical part. It's just the mindset, growing that mindset. And in a company, you have mindset trainings. Bring up the tracking system. Bring up, look, there's 2 estimators. Look how much more you're doing.
Yeah.
That's such a good point. Focus on growing your current employees. That's the focusing on the top 20%. Focus on growing their mindset and helping them and encouraging them to make them realize they can do more than they think they can, instead of trying to just grow the company to where now you have this person, this person, this person. Now we have too many people, just not, then you got to deal with the egos and stuff and all that. So
I guarantee you have to get 50 people to learn that you only need 40. You actually have to go get 50. You're not going to know it. You're not going to believe it until you really go back down to 40. You're really going to set that mindset of going, crap, I really never needed 50 anyway.
Yeah.
You're going to start, and as a company is like us, we're going to start realizing that maybe we don't need any more. Maybe we're going to be wiser on how we're running things and setting that mind, because now our leaders are going to have a better feel, a little bit more control of the 20% that's still there. Now you have 50%.
whoops.
I did not see or control my mind on that pen falling. No, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
So it's good. A lot of people got to go through it
Yeah.
for you to learn.
That's all I have.
Yeah.
You got anything?
I would just say there's a lot of people that, like we were saying, the ceiling in your mind. A lot of people, when they're at their breaking point, they're considered tired, and they don't know that they have 60% left. And people are like, "Oh yeah, I'm tired. I'll do it the next day." Everyone else is tired. You're not the only tired person in the world.
Yeah.
There are millions of people out here doing a lot more than you are, that are more tired than you are, killing the day, and you're just giving up on you just because you did one extra thing in your work. Stop saying you're tired, because you don't realize how much more you have left in your mind and body.
You know, that's interesting, because in the military, you had a standard.
They push you to the limit.
They push you to the limit,
Yeah.
and you would have thought you never got through it. But now I look back, I miss it.
Yeah.
And I've lost that. And so if you can sit there and say and listen to all these people with tired, well, hey, go see these guys.
Yeah.
There's so much more you can do.
Once you limit yourself to that last push up, you have 5 to 10 more. And your mind is like, no, we're tired, we're done. But your body can just keep. I mean, there's proof of people out there that have their bodies almost to the max they can get, and they keep going. It's amazing.
Read the book by Ed Milet, Power of One More. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good book.
Yeah.
He's got some good podcasts too. I mean, there's some of the things they do. But
Yeah. So this was a good conversation.
Yeah.
If you guys don't have anything else, we'll just end it right here. As always, go follow us on all the social media platforms. Ask a question. Help us out. Get engaged with us so we can answer it. Help you guys out. Help us out. Leave feedback, reviews. If you have any questions, you can also email Drew or I. It's Drew or Kelby at armcoreinc.com. And with that, do you got anything?
You good?
Well, no, I wanted to reach out to a lot of people out there too. Also, Lots for Soldiers, you know,
Yes.
and I want to make sure that we're doing things out there for these veterans, and we got blessing applications getting out to these local businesses. If you know a veteran, help them out.
Yeah.
We send these blessing applications in. Armed Corps is backing up Lots for Soldiers, and we got some great board members. We got some great people. We got a lot of veterans that need something.
Yeah.
And
We can start adding that link.
Yeah.
to
What
Lot-
do you know that
We'll
off
just-
the top of your head? Lots for Soldiers. Just look up Lots for Soldiers. It should be
Salina,
attached
Ohio.
to our Armed Corps Facebook. We have it all over that as well.
Yeah.
Please reach out to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
right.
that's all I got.
Yep.
Okay.
Share the show so
All right.
we can grow.
Bye. Thank you.